Hello, and thank you for tuning in. I will be discussing the paper Reconciling Governmental Online Targeting with Democracy. My name is Katja Andrić. I currently work in AI policy, but this paper was produced while I was still at the University of Edinburgh. I co-wrote it with Atoosa Kasirzadeh, who is a Chancellor's Fellow at the University of Edinburgh and a research lead at the Alan Turing Institute. This is how I will proceed. First, I will give you a brief introduction to online targeting. I will then tell you more about governmental online targeting through a case study of the UK. I will then talk about the three main anti-democratic problems that this practice raises. After that, I will introduce a governance framework that can reconcile this practice with democracy. Finally, I will talk about some limitations and open questions. So, what is online targeting? Put simply, online targeting refers to the customization of online products and services based on users' psychological profiles. These profiles are generated by machine learning algorithms based on the data gathered mainly through online monitoring and include personalities, preferences, and behavior. Online targeting is based on the same principles as offline targeting. Both are influenced by behavioral economics, which teaches us that we can influence someone's behavior by changing their choice architecture through nudges. However, online targeting is more efficient in achieving desired outcomes compared to offline targeting because it allows for accurate audience segregation and dynamic adjustments to choice architectures. Online targeting is extensively used in commercial spheres and increasingly in the political domain. A notable example is the case of Cambridge Analytica, that deployed online targeted adverts to influence voters to vote for Trump in 2016. Recent research by Collier et al. Brings to light a novel use of online targeting in the political domain. It reveals that the UK government is utilizing online targeted advertising to achieve public policy goals. It is doing that by combining operational data gathered and produced by state institutions with data gathered and produced by commercial companies to build psychological profiles of their citizens that then allow them to target them online. They are utilizing three distinct modes of operation. The minimally targeted mode involves minimal audience segregation and reliance on psychological profiles. It includes things like running ads on TikTok to reach younger audiences. The maximally targeted mode fully utilizes the online targeting infrastructure. For example, the Home Office ran a fire safety campaign that used Amazon purchasing data to target individuals who bought candles or lighters recently. It delivered those ads through the citizens' Alexa speakers. The outsourced mode involves outsourcing the design and execution of campaigns to the private sector. For example, the Home Office outsourced a knife crime prevention campaign to FCB Inferno and All City Media that targeted young black men in impoverished parts of London. Governmental online targeting raises some novel and unique socio-political issues. At the core of those issues is the practice's contested relationship with democracy and democratic values. According to Lever, there are three fundamental pillars of democracy. First, enabling citizens to be informed participants in lawmaking and electing representatives. Second, upholding citizens' civil, socio-economic, and political rights. And third, safeguarding citizens' equality and freedom. We identified three main anti-democratic worries, each of which directly challenges one or more of those pillars: the transparency problem, the privacy problem, and the equality problem. The first problem we raise is the transparency problem. Transparency is crucial for keeping governments accountable and for fostering informed democratic citizens. However, the UK government's use of online targeting suffers from a multidimensional lack of transparency. To begin with, there is a general lack of governmental transparency since the government never actually published a comprehensive list of its online targeting campaigns. Next, online targeting suffers from an inherent lack of widespread transparency. While traditional governmental campaigns are visible to the entire population and can be scrutinized by everyone, online targeting campaigns are normally only seen by those targeted, meaning that most of the population will never actually encounter them. Furthermore, there is a lack of transparency about the effectiveness of this practice because it is not very easy to measure it, as there are often no directly observable outcomes. Finally, machine learning algorithms underpinning the structure of targeted advertising suffer from an inherent opacity problem, meaning that it is not always possible to know why and how an algorithm reached a specific prediction. All four of those aspects of the transparency problem violate Lever's first democratic principle, that is, citizens' ability to be informed participants in lawmaking and electing representatives. The privacy problem is the second problem we raise. Privacy, which can be defined as the capacity to control our personal information, is a fundamental human right protected by all democratic countries. When our personal data is collected and analyzed, as is the case in online targeting, providing informed consent to this activity is what allows us to retain control over our personal information. The UK government's use of online targeting infringes privacy. There are two components to the privacy problem. First, at least in some instances, the UK government has not obtained valid consent from its citizens for collection and analysis of their data because it failed to disclose relevant information. Second, an erosion of privacy causes a chilling effect. Privacy creates a safe space for individuals where they can explore their beliefs and their interests. Such individuals are necessary for a democracy to thrive, but that can become challenging in the absence of privacy. The privacy problem, then, challenges the second democratic pillar, upholding citizens' civil, socioeconomic, and political rights. It also contradicts the first democratic pillar by compromising citizens' capacity to make genuinely independent political decisions. The final issue we raise is the equality problem. It relates to the potential of governmental online targeting to undermine the principles of equality and justice upheld by democracy, thereby violating the third democratic feature outlined by Lever. There are three sources for this. Firstly, psychological profiles in governmental online targeting are algorithmically generated, but AI algorithms can perpetuate social inequalities and biases that potentially results in wrongful discrimination and further marginalization of disadvantaged groups. Secondly, wrongful discrimination can also occur due to spurious or statistically insignificant correlations found in the data by those AI algorithms when they're looking for targets. Finally, governmental online targeting creates a shift in power dynamics within society. The government's collection and analysis of individuals' data gives them a greater ability to influence and control their citizens, which raises concerns about the potential for misuse of such power. By now, it is clear that online targeting can be an effective strategy for achieving certain goals. But can it be reconciled with democracy? There is no easy fix, but we propose a two-part framework that can take us a few steps closer to the solution. Firstly, by applying an AI governance framework by Zuger and Ashgari, we argue that the following 5 requirements need to be met by the governments when they're designing and deploying online targeting campaigns. First, the government must provide a public justification for using online targeting by disclosing details of the campaigns to the public and clarifying why this particular method was used. Second, online targeting campaigns must serve equality, meaning that governments must not run any campaigns that wrongfully discriminate against its citizens. Third, these campaigns must be co-designed with the public to avoid harmful mischaracterizations and unintended consequences. The fourth and fifth requirement amount to ensuring that appropriate technical safeguards are implemented and that the whole system is open to validation. This includes obtaining informed consent from everyone whose data is being used. The second part of our proposed solution includes establishing an independent institution of interdisciplinary experts to guide government officials, check government power, and ensure compliance with the 5 requirements. We believe that this two-part solution can solve all 3 democratic problems we raised. At the end, I would like to point out some limitations and briefly mention remaining open questions. It is important to note that we focus on a single democratic government and a single governance framework. Both points should be tackled by future research. We provided some preliminary insights into this complex topic, but several questions remain unanswered. For example, should governments use online targeting for national security purposes, or perhaps to counter misinformation and disinformation within online communities? I am excited to see how future research will tackle these questions. In the meantime, I invite you to check out our paper. Thank you for listening.